All right, everyone. Ben Marino here, and I'm here with Adam Philipson, the CEO and president of the Count Basie Center for the Arts. Adam, welcome.
Thank you, man. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be in this space. The space is, you guys did a great job. It looks amazing.
Thank you. This is awesome. It's just truly an honor to be in such a historical building, working with such a historical and legendary company as you guys. I mean,
Thank you, man.
this whole thing's amazing.
Yeah. Now, listen, we have a thriving campus here, and we just felt like having you guys here and part of it. As I've always been saying to John, it's like having an Apple store in your mall. You know?
My gosh,
It's really
that's awesome.
cool.
Well, we feel like we're the Apple store in the mall. So, oh my gosh,
Anyway, that's exactly what I just said, dude.
that's what he said. I wanted to turn it around. I
Yeah,
couldn't figure out
exactly.
how.
You know
well,
what I really feel is that we're the Apple store. No, go ahead.
So we have the honor of I'm going to interview him today. So,
All right, man.
What got you started in this industry?
Well, I've been in the business in one form or another since I was 12 years old, growing up in New York City. So I've just, the arts have always been something I've been involved in, and always found the value, and always found the community and the family, and it's just something that's been staying a part of me for a long time.
Wow, I love it. I love it. There's such a strong mission here. There's such strong arts and education, and just a focus on performance as well, and just all of those things. So now, we have obviously the theater, right? And then now we have the Vogel.
Yeah,
so
so-
tell us about the Vogel a little bit, and also having two incredible facilities in one place.
I think when I got here about 8 years ago, we had a lot of conversation about, we've got this great venue, but and we have great education programs, but how do we really become a community venue that's known for the education work that we do, and for the fact that we can take people on a journey in their career. They can start in a class, and then they can find themselves on Broadway, or find themselves in a band, or something, or start in a small space, and next thing they're on the main stage. And we really knew that to be that kind of pathway,
Yeah.
you needed that spot that
Right.
was a little smaller, not so intimidating, because it's not easy to perform. If you're starting out, being in 1,500 people,
No.
first of all, if it's full, it's freaky, and
Yeah.
if it's not full, it's freaky. So either
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
we knew we needed another space, and that's
Cool.
really when the germ of this idea came for another venue. And then, also for us, a lot of our stuff was traditional and seated, and there were bands that we were working with or starting to work with that didn't really want to play a seated venue, and we just needed to have a different experience for our artists and for our community members, especially community members that were moving into the Red Bank or the area, and listen, they were going to stay in New York and consume there if they didn't have something here. So that was really where it all began.
Awesome.
How can we better serve our community?
Yes.
And it's great. Having two, it's amazing. And it's you really feel like it's this thriving campus.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome. I love those words.
Yeah.
And what you're describing is what shows to me as a public member, looking in, and so to know that you guys can bring someone from inception of artistry and education and just a desire for the arts,
Yeah, man.
all the way to, hey, yeah, so and so's on a Broadway show, so and so's auditioning, so and so's in this
And,
band,
when-
touring,
and you
whatever.
get a chance to, in our bands or groups that we're raising, right? You get to maybe open up for somebody, or we got a couple of kids that are singing backup for Bobby Bandiera with the Tom
Yeah.
Petty show, and those are the kinds of opportunities that you can create.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the artists that come to visit, they actually also care about education
Yes.
and reaching that community. They
Yes.
love their patrons and the artists that are coming to their show, but they really care also. And so that's what happens. And that's
Yeah.
the field we're in. And in general, there's just good people, man, that want to
Yeah.
help each other and get each other to the next level.
Yep, 100%. And that's where I feel like there is a common thread between us, because, one of our mission statements is relevance and helping people in the world right now. What is the music industry? What does it look like? So the artist program, something like that, the core program, training people up in bands, right? To then go out into the real world and become touring musicians or
Yeah.
session musicians. Or maybe they're not full-time musicians and they're gonna go do a different profession, but they're a hobbyist and they just love it. Like, it's all
100%.
for the love.
And also, I think, what you guys teach and what we teach in our programs is, it's that level of professionalism. I mean, yes, you're dipping your toe in to see like, oh, I like this, I don't
Yeah.
like this. Fine, there's always that, right?
Yeah.
But when you get to one step beyond that, we got kids right now that are rehearsing for a show that comes on next week. They're in tech dress from 4 until 8 o'clock every day this week,
Wow.
all day Saturday, all day Sunday. That level of rigor.
Right.
And you do the same thing. That breeds. Just when you're in a professional situation, you know what to do.
Yes.
And you know how to behave.
Right.
Because you're not going to be doing something and on your phone checking out.
Yeah, you know the etiquette. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Right.
And that's what I think a real good facility teaches.
Cool.
And then who comes out
Yes.
on all sides has that level of depth and education.
Yeah, and as a professional, there comes to a certain point where your playing gets you in the door, but your attitude keeps you there.
Oh my God, that's exactly right. That's it.
So I love that. I think, that's one of our for our instructors. That's something that we love in all of our instructors. Every single instructor we have has an amazing, humble attitude.
Oh man, that's
And
so
they'll
great.
never tell you where they've been or the tours they did unless you ask. And it comes from this place of them wanting to help you, right? It's all about the student.
That's so great. That's great. Yeah.
So I see that with you guys
Yeah,
too.
no, this is like, for us, this was just a natural fit.
Yeah.
It's just something that we wanted to do for a long time. It just had to be the right time, the right place. And I think in this moment, especially with COVID, when we've all been responding and figuring out what's our next step, and how do we continue to serve people, some great partnerships have formed. And I'm so proud of this partnership and working
Yes,
with you guys.
likewise.
Having you here and, been walking by and seeing the new logo on the window and I'm just feeling like this is so right. This is such a good time. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of the last year, how has that transformed how you guys, what your model looks like? What any of your, the stuff you're doing has looked like now in April of 2021?
Everything looks a little bit different, and I don't know that it's ever gonna look the way it looked. Like it's gonna come back to some amazing normalcy, but it's gonna be new. There's just
Right.
people have learned certain things that they shouldn't forget. Like time with your family.
Yes, right.
And and if you can cut 4 hours of your life off by not having to be driving around because you can do something virtually, that's gonna stay.
Yeah.
And if you have other opportunity to reach other people in a wider range because they can get to you virtually,
Right.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. So I think we've spent a lot of time these last, couple of months really saying like, what did we have to do because of COVID that was like, yes, I'm glad we did it, but like, bye-bye.
Yeah.
And then what did we do that we've learned from that we should keep?
Yes.
And there's a lot of that. So, I think good lessons learned, like a lot of opportunity to talk to people that you probably haven't spoken to in ways that you haven't. And I hope that stays.
Yes.
Like there's just a way that we have to be there for each other
Yeah.
that I hope continues.
Right. I think we've all learned that communication happens a lot when you see people like in a room, right? But when you don't for a while, you actually have to make an effort to
Yeah.
go and communicate, right? So
No doubt.
I think you kind of
Yeah,
hit on
no,
that,
you-
which I think is a beautiful thing that I know I've learned this year of, hey, stay connected.
Stay connected.
Say hey, reach out.
And find those ways to to do the communication that was happening when you walked down a hallway and you saw people,
Yes.
because
Right.
that's what's missing.
Yes.
So we've done a lot of that too.
Yeah.
How do we layer on that level of communication? That's been
Yeah.
strong.
Cool. In that same regard of the virtual lessons, one of the coolest things I think that we found, I don't know if you guys have found just with the distance, like there have been people from Germany, from Florida, from Arizona taking lessons and actually being in some of our virtual bands.
That's so cool.
And people think that's crazy, but
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful.
Listen, I think it's great, and I think that, like I said, I think that's just been another way that things have been flattened a little bit, and any of those excuses or whatever that you might have had because of distance or time or geography, I think those have gone away. So what does that mean? That there's more opportunity than ever.
Yeah.
You know, and I think people, based on what we saw, right, like commercials and everything that you saw over the last year while we've been home, how many people used creativity and the arts to heal and get through? I mean, like, I believe there's going to be more people wanting to consume the arts than ever.
Yep. I've been having so many conversations, just people calling me up and talking about that very thing. So I believe that too.
Yeah, cool.
Can you tell us a little bit about your team and maybe some of the different avenues that you have to offer at the Basie Center for the Arts?
Yeah, I mean, we have an incredible team that really we were able to keep solid for the entire pandemic.
Amazing.
You know, we've found other ways to pivot and to be relevant and serve our mission, which is to inspire and to educate and to entertain.
Nice.
So I mean, we have you know, we've got a great department that lead our nonprofit fundraising side, because there's a lot of funding that we have to do to be able to support students that can't have the resources.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You know, which is great work that we do, and we do galas to support that, and you know, we do a lot of fundraising for that mission. You know, we've got a top presenting organization, the number one in the state of New Jersey before COVID. So that the big venue's always full, and now, you know, even just with what we're allowed right now, which is only 150 seated in the Vogel, that's the capacity limits that we have.
And you're having
doing
live shows
70, 80 shows that have been sold out. So and safely. Our marketing and department, you know, is just putting out everything that we all envision together.
Yeah.
We've got quite a bit of education work ourselves. We have a School of Performing Arts, and we have a School of Music. School of Music is there's, you know, classical work that you can do and study, and bands and orchestras and ensembles that you're in.
Yeah.
We have jazz ensembles. We've got theater. There's Broadway shows that kids work on. There's an a cappella groups. There's just so much that's to be offered here.
That's amazing.
Yeah, on camera, improv, everything.
Wow.
Really. And now
we have to collaborate with that stuff.
Yeah.
It's got all the camera people and the improv.
That's what's got to happen.
Yeah.
Right. That's where I think that we, you know, in a lot of the conversations that we've been having, conceptually, vision is why this is such a great partnership, because I think we feel the same thing.
Yeah.
But like how we can engage kids and how we can, you know, engage groups and create hybrids. That's really all of our creative ideas, and that's what we're going to do.
Awesome. What do you think the arts community needs now more than ever after the last year?
You know, support, financial support, to be honest. I mean, there's a lot of organizations that have closed their doors.
Yeah.
You know, there was a lot of organizations and foundations that recognized that they needed to support, you know, people that were sick and people that were administering vaccinations and things of that so or food, and people that were like couldn't pay rent and didn't have food. I mean, the services that were available got a lot of needed support in this time, and sometimes that meant that the arts were being overlooked, and in some areas there was more support than ever. But I really believe coming out of this, you know, just because one day the governor's going to say, hey, you're back, take your mask off, you don't need to be 6 feet apart, and you know, you can fill a room.
Right.
Still going to take a year to get yourself back to some sense of normalcy. So,
Totally.
you know, there's a bridge. When I talk to a lot of my colleagues right now, you know, there's a bridge. And when I talk to a lot of students right now, they would love to, but they can't. So the opportunity for us to be able to support that interest is going to be more than ever.
Right. And I think you know, musicians and performers and people in the arts, I see it online, I see it with friends. There's a glue, and there's stuff that they're all coming together online, you know, using different platforms and stuff, which
people
is
are
beautiful.
helping each other right now. I think there's a general sense that like that we're not going to do this alone, and and that we have no one else to look to except ourselves. Like we're not waiting for anybody to come save us.
Yeah.
That's really the lesson that we learned.
Yeah.
Nobody was going to come along and say, hey, here's this so you can stay open.
Yes.
I mean, like it came from our desire to do what we need to do for this community.
Yeah. You got to pivot.
Yeah, man. I hate that word, but yes.
I know. We'll circle back to that later.
Yeah, okay,
please. Give me a favorite part of a day in the life of Adam Philipson at the Count Basie.
I always love the sounds, right? Like, so I love those moments that we're all hearing, people playing, or the excitement of students that are, like that the education component is just, it's so important to us. It's so, you're changing lives, and that feels good on a daily basis.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. Man, do you have any advice for the current and future generation of artists?
I think that this is a time when you have to be more committed to your craft, more committed to doing the work that it takes, right? I do believe that we're all seeing people get successful quickly or unexpectedly, but I think that hardcore commitment is something that I work to my kids about and talk to artists that are coming up right now. It's like, this is the chance. There's more opportunity than ever. There's more opportunity to put yourself on camera and get someone to see you, but that doesn't mean that takes away how much you're committing to your time and your craft.
Wow. Awesome. Well, there we have it, folks.
All right, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam, for being with us. Thanks.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks for all this. We're excited for the future.
Very cool.
Lakehouse at the Basie. Come check out the logo. Come to one of the open houses. And if you see Adam's beautiful face around, go say hi.
Thank you. Please do.
Thanks. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, Ben.